Hi, how you been? Thanks for joining, thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in. I thought I'd bring it outside today. Just bought a new tripod and it allows me to kind of take us a little bit somewhere nicer. So I'll come out in the garden. Spring's just springing, I suppose, and it'll soon be on us. So it's nice to be out in the fresh air. So thank you for joining. Thank you for all the support, for all the messages, all the likes, people sharing on social media, subscribing. I think we're up to 60 subscribers now, which is absolutely fantastic. That's like 10 in a week or something, which is amazing. So yeah, thank you for that. The support's been phenomenal. So I thought I'd pop on today. I wanted to talk about something. It's kind of two topics, but built into one. There's a lot of change going on in the world at the moment. I know in the UK we're kind of getting prepared to kind of go back out into the big world from lockdown or quarantine or what you want to call it. And there's a lot of anxiety around that. And dealing with people in general is quite a hard thing to do. Everyone is just doing their best from their own kind of state of consciousness. There's a lot of ego, there's a lot of mind out there, you know. People come from their own perceptions and therefore they have their own views on how things should happen, how people should behave, how situations should be. So it's often hard to deal because we've got our own mind to deal with, we've got our own perceptions to deal with and the way we think that things should be. So today I want to talk about intention in response. Well, mainly around in response to people and in response to situations. So we start with intention. What is intention? So intention is like an energy, the energy that something carries. Why are we doing it? You know, am I doing it because it's right? You know, am I doing it from a place of peace, from a place of acceptance, from a place of surrender? Or am I coming from my mind? Am I coming from a place of need, from lack, from greed, from negativity? And it's an important thing because, you know, our words carry energy, our actions carry energy, our thoughts carry energy. So where is that coming from? You know, what place is that coming from a centered place? And it's really key when we're responding to people and situations. A lot of people react to us. And if we look at a situation, for example, and we look at how things are dealt with when they're not coming from a centered place, you see a lot of protests around things. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm not saying that if you go out on a protest, you're bad. It's not that at all. That's your thing. This is my understanding, my perception. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's absolutely fine. I'm hoping some of this does. It might help someone. But from my perspective, what I see a lot of protests around things. But the protests, whilst they can be a good tool, when they're coming from a place where it is that we are not okay with a situation, where a situation doesn't sit well with us, and the intention around it is that the situation is wrong and I need to change it. I'm not okay with that situation, so that needs to change. So I'm going to go out and protest around that. And inevitably what happens is that resistance against whatever it is, that fight against what it is, whatever it is that we're trying to protest against, it just gets worse. You look at anything in the world, you look at the war on drugs, the war on crime, the war on anything, it just gets worse, it just snowballs. You're just fighting negativity with negativity. It just doesn't add up to a positive. So that's on a big scale, you know. When we're okay with something, when that protest comes from a place of peace, from a place of, you know, a centered place, then yeah, it'll have benefit. But how can we do that in our daily lives? We have people, and I've got a real life situation that I can put in here as an example. So people will react to us in a certain way from their own state of consciousness, from however they are. When I say their own state of consciousness, I mean whether they are wrapped up in their thoughts and their thinking and their mind. and they will come from whatever state that they're in. And no one ever, listen, no one ever goes out to cause harm or do anything, that their mind doesn't justify to them. So they're always coming from a justified place. They're always coming from their perception. They're not right or wrong. That's just their point of view. But it's how to deal with that. How to deal with that from a centered place. So I had a situation not too long ago, and someone contacted me and said, "You've done this, you've done that. You're wrong. You're bad, and you need to do X, Y, and Z." And straight away in my mind, the mind in me, the ego in me, was, I'm not wrong. I'm right. What I did was right, and that was my perception. The way I dealt with that is I stepped back from the situation, and I thought to myself, I don't need to be right. I'm right from my perspective, they're right from their perspective. We're both right. I'm also wrong from their perspective, and they're also wrong from my perspective. And in the ego, that right and wrong, that duality, that judgment, that's where that comes from. But when you step back from it and you remove that, what you're left with, that reaction, what you're left with is a response. And thankfully in this situation I was able to do that. And I was able to say, okay, I'm sorry that that's how you feel. This person clearly felt like they'd been wronged and felt like they were a victim, and that's absolutely fine. Like I said, it's not about being right or wrong. But it removed that need for me to be right. So stepping out of the mind, remaining present, focusing on when my head was going, well, you're right and they're wrong. Calming it down, taking a breath, being present, getting centered, and responding to that rather than reacting was just nothing. There was no argument to flow from it. There was no negativity. I didn't say it. I came from a place of peace. I came from love, a place of compassion. That I understand that that's how they were feeling. I understood that they felt wronged. I understood that their head was telling them they're a victim, and that's absolutely fine. But I also understood that I didn't need to be right. I didn't need to make them wrong to make me right. And this can play out in any situation. It can play out, a lot of people are stressed and anxious about going back to work, into an office where they have to deal with people face to face. And it's the same thing. We can do this all day, every day. Just pause and respond rather than react. And come from a place of peace, a place of love, a place of understanding, rather than getting wrapped up in those thoughts that go, oh, they've done me wrong, I'm right. And listen, I'm not perfect. I do it all the time. I've done it before, and I'm still not perfect now. But that's what I try and practice, and it brings a lot of peace to my life. Another part of my journey is that that was nice and peaceful. Another part of my journey is that I went through a divorce, last year, and when we're going through, and the lead up to that, there was a lot of situations where my ex-wife would tell me that I was wrong. I had done this, and yes, there are things that I did that would be considered wrong. But I didn't get involved in those things. I tried my best not to get involved in those conversations, in that energy. And sometimes it's just the best place is just step back and go, okay, that's fine. And to start with, people won't understand it, they won't get it, they'll feel like the fight's gone out of you. But I now have a really good relationship with my ex-wife, and I believe that it's through stepping back, looking at the situation with compassion, not reacting, not responding, not reacting. And I now have a lovely relationship with her and with my little girl. And it's very peaceful, and it's a good co-parenting situation. And it's because the intention was there. The intention was coming from a place of, I'm okay, I don't need to be right. I don't need to make someone else wrong to make me feel right. One of my mentors says that the definition of intention is the reason I do a thing is more important than the thing I actually do. And that is very true. You know, the reason behind it, like I said, it carries energy, and that energy will be transferred into the situation, into the other person, and they can feel it. And you can, the way I've witnessed situations be diffused just because that energy has been from a place of peace, and I've not got involved. So I hope that helps someone. I just felt I felt like I needed to share that today. That was something that came to me today. I was talking to someone about it earlier. And so yeah, the practice there is just to relax, not get involved in it, step back. And when we do respond, come from a place of peace and centeredness. So thank you so much for watching. Thanks for joining me, thanks for your support. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, share it on social media, chuck me a comment. It all helps in getting the message out there to a wider audience. And hopefully it can help some people, and hopefully I'll have some more content for you coming soon. And I'll see you soon. Thank you.